What is up guys, Wraec here with a new video, and today I have quite big news. We have an upcoming character, Lily May, that much you know, and I actually have the skills that she's probably going to have. There was kind of, well, not a leak, some early info, let's call it that, on the Discord server. And we're going to check this out. It's pretty reliable information, so I expect it to be somewhat close at least. We can actually already fight Lily May in-game by doing the Before It Rains quest. I started it. We are going to skip it because I don't really wanna spoiler you here. But we gotta get the opportunity to fight her here actually. There she is, Lily May, and we can't really see her skills here, which I think they made in a kitty cute way. It's pretty nice how they did that, with like under the influence of a mysterious power, you can't see it here. And we have the skills actually. Wilder, Rogue, Magic, Range. There's some people that think she might not be a Rogue, but we'll see. There's one thing they didn't hide though, an agile rogue who can interrupt enemies' ultimate and continue to grow throughout the battle. And that pretty much fits the skills that I have. And starting off, maybe the most insane meta change that I have seen in this game yet is her ultimate. Her ultimate will be called Tempest Shot, and she will have a defensive state. And in the defensive state, she can block an enemy's ult. Either you can select a specific enemy. So you could say, for example, I want to block the ult of the back row hero here. And then she would actually wait until that hero does an ult and then block it. Or in auto battle, or when no specific hero is selected, she will block the first ult that happens in a battle. And that is super insane, because the most meta-defining PvP hero at the moment is of course Eironn, and Eironn does his ult right at the beginning of the fight with his Mythic Plus ability. So this is currently one of the most insane things that can happen in PvP. So this ult would then be blocked by her, and not only blocked, she would interrupt the enemy and deal substantial damage. So Eironn will take a huge hit instead of doing his ult. Your heroes wouldn't be pulled together, and you wouldn't have to face those pesky Eironn combs. So she's a direct counter to Eironn in that situation, maybe enabling other teams. We might run her on something like a Talene team, which would be kind of insane to just get around this Eironn team. There are other situations too where such a skill as the first skill of Lily May is very, very good. And that is of course in teams that use the, where do we have it, the Cascade Spell Charm. So if you see an enemy using the Cascade Spell Charm, for example, to charge up a Coco, you can just select Coco with Lily May, and this will perfectly counter Cascade Spell, because the first hero is of course, to get an ult is of course the hero that gets the energy from Cascade Spell. You can see which one that is. So basically this makes Cascade Spell, I don't want to say useless, but if you have an enemy that's trying to fight you and sees that, he will have a pretty easy time countering it, making it at least much worse. So the second skill is something that we're going to see in the fight. I'm saving this up because we only get one opportunity to really watch this. So I wanted you guys to see as much of these skills as possible. Her second skill is called Rainstorm Ballet? I don't know how we pronounce that in English. It's her second skill. It enables her to flash to the target, attack multiple times, dealing a certain amount of damage per hit, so we don't really have the precise info. After she finishes attacking, she will return to her original tile. That reminds me of Ulcer. While this skill is active, Lily May remains invincible, meaning she cannot be targeted or attacked. So basically, that is Ulcer's skill, without the disadvantage that Ulcer had on her first ult, which was always that her first ult kind of brought her to the enemy, and then she stood next to the enemy where you really didn't want to have her. If you got to the second ult, everything was fine. This first ult was really mean, but considering she's immune during this, that's no problem at all. So just a very quick attack, and very quick to the target is of course the question, what does that mean? Does to the target mean we attack the hero that we targeted with our defensive state? Is that the hero where we want to block the ult from? Would be kind of interesting just to have this very specific way to take out. We don't know anything about a certain position yet. Sometimes we saw with Rainier, we see the parallel positioning, like the symmetrical positioning there, or something like that. Otherwise, sometimes have targeting mechanics like Vala, where the hero that is furthest away from her get targeted. So we don't really know how Tempest Shot works in that regard. So we'll have to wait about that. But the skill seems pretty good. The skill at least doesn't seem like a certain way for her to die. Then we have her third skill, which is Swallow's Flight. My god, my English today is horrible. Lily May's third skill, Swallow's Flight, allows her to grow stronger during battle, which we also see a reference through here. And basically, she can get experience points for assist or kills during the battle. And once her XP bar is full, she will grow permanently stronger for that battle. So, sadly, like an ability that really doesn't work well for most boss fights, but an interesting one nonetheless. Permanently her attack will be increased, and enhanced attack will deal additional true damage, which is very, very good. There is one boss where I think this might be really interesting, and that is of course Skyclops, because Skyclops is the only boss that we have that summons targetable minions. That is just the Big Eye boss, Big Eye Dream Realm boss. Summons those minions that you have to defeat to progress through the boss fight. And of course, well, in this situation, she will be able to profit, or might be able to profit from those minions actually enhancing her XP bar, which might make her viable there. We'll have to see about that. Magic damage dealer usually quite good for bosses, so especially early on. Maybe there is some potential, at least for this one boss, which of course, I mean, yeah, it's super specific, but something to keep in mind. Maybe we'll see other bosses with multiple enemies further in the future. And then of course we have battle drills. When you fight the regular mobs there, we have 15 minions that you defeat. That should probably suffice to buff her quite a lot, which is fairly interesting. And then we have her Mythic Plus skill. After unlocking her exclusive skill Rainfall Bliss, Lily can grow once upon receiving a non-permanent stat boost from an ally, allowing her to deal additional attacks the next time she casts Rainstorm Ballet, which is the skill where she flashes to the target and is invincible, the one talked about as the second skill. So we of course don't know what happens there at +5, +15, whatever, but it is an interesting skill. Non-permanent stat boost, this is a mechanic we last saw on Diana, so definitely kind of interesting to see what we do with it. Other ways to basically give the hero non-permanent stat boost. What does that even mean? A non-permanent stat boost is any stat boost that has a duration. Which, yeah, kind of is in the word, but it makes it a little bit more obvious, because every time you see something, you see a skill effect like there, we can't really see it here because it's not written in the short text actually, but the lightning spell, the attack speed is actually time limited, so this would count as a non-permanent stat boost. Other prominent non-permanent stat boosts are, for example, where do we have her? She's hidden. She's gone. Shouldn't be that far up. Give me a second. Okay, I was confused by I couldn't find Luca because she's up there. She's actually in the fight. And she has an ability, bestows Blessing of the Stars, increasing all allies' attack speed by 25 for 6 seconds. So she's also very prominent and also featured in many Diana teams. And that's fairly interesting. We'll see what her +5, +10, +15 is. For now, I would say we hop into the battle. We should probably have chosen a different task. And there you see her flash around the battlefield. I reduced the speed there. Her normal attack, we see it. We didn't see her counter an ultimate skill. I at least don't think she is. Aves 11. There we saw her attack buff actually leveling up. And I think this is the small experience bar. The small bar we see right below. Isn't quite filled yet. It would surely be interesting to see that. Flashing around the entire water. Okay. Didn't do super much. I would love to see her stats though. We can replay it. That makes it even better. So, sadly, completely hidden, but we'll watch it again. So starts off with a very, very fast attack. And I didn't see her block any ult. Let's watch it again. Maybe you guys see it. No, there. Ult triggers normally, that was the first one. Maybe, I'm not quite sure how that worked out, but okay. At least her skill set seems interesting and her abilities are quite nice. And we saw also the invincibility. I'm very curious to see her really in battle with a bit more depth and with a bit more setup to really make use of her, to see how far we can buff her, if we can get her easily maybe to the true damage, and what we will really get as mythic weapon. But now you have an idea how she works. And of course, that's a bit of hype that we definitely should give her at that point. I will skip this cutscene so you don't have to see it. And don't miss out on the story. Definitely do these quests though before it rains. Should be available for you. Should actually be right here. Pretty easy to find. Yeah, Eironn counter will be huge. Will probably break up the meta in Arena. Maybe more towards some smaller teams. Maybe you can tell me that in the comments. Which team do you see being on top when actually Eironn just gets countered and Eironn just rotates out of the meta? Just imagine him gone. Just imagine him gone, and then let's see who's the best. I think it might honestly be Talene. It might honestly be Talene. If Eironn is gone, Talene has pretty good chances. And of course, one of the best heroes in PvP, I think, will be Skalita. Yeah. So, with that, I wish you a great day. We'll see us in the next one.